And welcome back, one and all. We are here for the game. Seems might be an issue or two still, but they say let's wait for daytime. Noob seems to be confident that that'll fix it.
I don't even know what the bug is. Oh, they said fixed. So it wasn't about day. Maybe that was just a total coincidence. Another time they played that day fixed it. But here we are. So, smoke up from Nigma Galaxy. Looking for a good entry into the game. GH starting with boots on ET is going to be really, really fast in this fight if he were to connect, but gets smoked off from the high ground.
Happy to just break it. His team wasn't fully in position to follow up with any kind of move, so he's happy to break it. What do you think they want the boots here? Just keep dragging the wave back to make some... Wait, where is he playing actually, GH? You're going to be going top, right, with the Razor. So they're just trying to get up into the face?
Yeah, if you're in a favorable lane on ET, you played exceptionally well with boots. Summer, big damage from some mail.
Should be
Not
fine.
enough though. Ooh, those fatal bonds on the Beastmaster summons, quite nice.
Fatal Bonds, Beastmaster Summon, some Blood Grenade. Shad is actually going to chase with the Scorched Earth here on the Doom. They want to look for this first blood. Omar falling very low. First blood, is it going to come? Oh, one more hit is all that's needed. Shad has his Scorched Earth tick out though. But Kidaro gets the vision, gets the range, gets the right click. That illusion of the Shadow Shaman made all the work happen in the end.
Do you remember the changelog where Warlock got 800 attack range? That really came into play there on that last attack. Very interesting. Alright, well, off to the races. OG with the first blood for their Warlock. Probably not exactly the dream hero to get it on, but it's nice. You're going to have more resources down here. And what we were talking about with the ET, going boots against a weak lane can be very strong, since if you just out-trade the opponent significantly, you can non-stop just do this. Running in at Mixa, smacking him. He's going to back off this time with the placement of the lane, but it allows him to put on the pain whenever able.
Speaking of pain mid lane, we're of course going to be seeing how Sumail fares against Stormstormer. He did have to start the lane with a lot less regen on Sumail, given how much damage he took in that earlier skirmish. So that did give Stormstormer a bit of an advantage early, and that is indeed reflected in the CS numbers. But eventually Razor will get the level 2 link, and that becomes a lot easier for him to play.
Yeah, this is a lane that Monkey King on paper should just not win, I think. But in the very early stage, it's pretty manageable. But yeah, I would agree. Level 3 is when this lane changes drastically. And I'm curious to see how Stormstormer deals with this. So we've seen, I think my favorite mid-Monkey King player to watch in the world is Malreen, because he has some games that are just unplayable in lane. And then he leaves minute 3. He just roams. I've seen him do it against Viper. I've seen him do it against Huskar. Razor is easier than those matchups, but it's still probably on the harder side that you do want to do it eventually. So curious if Stormstormer is going to adapt that playstyle, or if he can still get enough out of mid that he wants to stay.
So far, he still has quite a bit of CS, but the level 3 mark has been reached. So Stormstormer, it's up to you, gang. He's going to be building straight into the tricks, a wand. And it does have boots already, so I think that's definitely necessary to play up against this Razor mid.
Yeah, boots. Boots for sure. The wand is, I guess... Yeah, it's probably just the second best item after boots, right? Probably. You could maybe have made a case for a little bit more early stats so you can trade a little better whenever the link is down, but Sumail will be casting quite a lot of spells, so it's good. Alright, another kill is expected here. Daze as well as Mixa finding ET and some solid damage onto Ghost as well. He's deceptively tanky here. He still had 9 sticks plus a Lotus, but it's a solid start there for OG in the top lane.
They almost didn't get it. Daze had to connect that third poison because Mixa initially missed the swashbuckle going forward, but they get it eventually. How are things looking down bottom? Doom farming away. He's chilling. Obviously, they're not really able to stop Noob, who's gotten a lot out of this lane. We were speaking about this in the draft, how strong Beastmaster is with Shadow Shaman, and we're going to see an example of it here. The Shackles went out to Kidaro, some right-click damage is thrown in, and Kidaro will die. At the same time, Nigma also were able to get a kill on another support up top. Might lose Omar here to Shad, but no, Shad ran out of Scorched Earth. Omar's going to be fine.
The dream is to proc your foul play, and then Doom just ends his Scorched Earth, which is exactly what happened. One more second on Scorched Earth, and that's a dead Shaman, I think. Now instead, Omar's going to come back to lane with a lot of resources.
At the same time, though, Noob is having a lot of struggles bottom, just getting zoned back somewhat. Very low on the HP, was given a tango. Should be fine. What's that? A helm of Iron Will crown? Wow.
Yeah, it's a big help to get home against Warlock. Health regen is the name of the game against that hero, because its harassment is always over a longer extended period of time and not so much in the burst nature. So now that you have these items on Beastmaster, I think this lane just kind of plays itself, honestly. Doom cannot kill him on his kill you on his own, and Warlock doesn't offer much. So I think Noob will be very, very happy in the upcoming minutes down bot. Shad, alright. A little bit of harass here from Omar. I'm not really sure what the goal was, but...
Yeah, there's just no way. Kidaro already has a Ring of Bassi, so he'll pretty much always have uptime on the Shadow Word. Shad has Scorched Earth as well. So just wanna say hello. Just say what's up, gang. But don't really overcommit for that one. Obviously, Shad is going to be going for that early Hand of Midas, playing with the Devil's Bargain on the Doom. So just wants to keep the acceleration on farm going. His counterpart wants to do the same. Ghost, of course, has not died early on, was able to get a kill as well. So he is looking very solid, top of the CS charts, kill to his name, able to just sustain in lane. Life is good for the Medusa.
And you said his counterpart wanted to do the same. I was like, Deuce is going Midas? But, alright, we're not quite there. It's all good.
Mid lane, they have stocked up with this Shadow Shaman. Omar was coming into the area, hoping maybe that Stormstormer would overextend. Ends up not happening. And Stormstormer is doing a pretty good job in the CS department. Yes, he's playing most of his time on the high ground, but he's a draw CS-wise. It's pretty good.
Yeah, he's behind by 200 on the net worth. I don't know if he had to buy an extra salve or something to stay afloat here, but all things considered, this, I would say, is a pretty good result for Monkey King, theoretically. So, that's good news for the side of OG. It allows Stormstormer to make moves, of course, but he went 0 points in tree bans. I don't know how much I like that for this game when you're laning against the Razor.
Look at this rotation, bro. Who needs tree dance? I've got Mischief. This is how I'm gonna move around the map. This is actually so funny. And he's in. Here he is. The team is gonna be like, what the hell? A moving tree? Sumail came as well. They know they want to fight over the shrine. He's gonna get it. Yeah, there's nobody there to contest him right now. He gets it in time, picks up the Wukong's command. Let's see, do they have the damage? Omar about to drop, goes into the foul play, but it's not gonna help. Sumail, though, has drained quite a lot of damage, but not from the Monkey. So Monkey has more than enough to threaten the Razor himself. They get the shrine, they get the kills. They also managed to pick up a kill on GH on the other side, who was trying to steal their shrine. Massive map plays from OG, puts them in a very good position right now.
That's a huge win. Now both of their supports are 5 or very close to 5. On Nigma Galaxy, they're 3, close to 4, and just cracked 4. So these ultis, the Demonic Purge and the Golem now available after Kidaro chooses to read a book. This is a power play now for OG. This next coming minutes, they are so much stronger if they get their spells running correctly in the fights. And you can see they're barely even taking a breath before they go for this dive now. Noob, he's dead.
First Doom of the game. Noob might be fine here because Sumail will be able to zone back Stormstormer. And now the Monkey King is the one that's in trouble. He's out of mana, he doesn't have a Wukong, doesn't have a wand. And he's just dead. Like you said, he didn't have tree dance. It didn't matter in the previous engagement. But right then, he gets heavily punished for not having the spell. Omar, he might lose out here as well. Kidaro really wants this to justify having dropped the Golem. Sadly, he's not going to get it. Sumail comes back on top of the Primal Roar. They kill off Kidaro. And with the Eye of the Storm still going, they might even be able to mop up the Chaos Golem. Daze will be there dropping a advantage onto him. Sumail coming out very low. One more Shadow Poison will probably kill him, and indeed it does. Daze throws in the damage, and they are able to find the kill.
I really liked the attempted dive there, but I think they must have messed something up for Beastmaster to survive there. The Doom, I think the Golem was really far away on cast, and maybe they forced it a little bit too much, because in theory, this kind of move is super strong when you hit the early 6 on Warlock. You know the enemy team got 0 wisdoms. But first of all, Nigma Galaxy were ready with a lot of heroes, and secondly, you misexecute a little bit, and unfortunately now for you as OG, this is a big part of the advantage that you just built down the drain, because all this experience that these deaths give is really, really juicy for Nigma Galaxy. At the very least, the Razor kill on the way out helps them a bit, but man, they're just taking no breaks. OG are all aggression. It seems like a mindset.
The Mischief rotation coming through again, and there comes the Wukong's command. Ghost has no options, no way out of this one. Gonna die very, very quickly. Tells his team, don't even bother trying to help me, gang. As he loses his life, his team at least trying to pressure towers elsewhere on the map. I'm not sure if they can, how many of them they're gonna get. Bottom might fall, the Satyr Tormentor here. Kidaro comes back with Shad though. They want to try and defend this as much as possible.
I don't want to read too much into this, but it really stands out to me just how fast OG are making moves around the map, and the fact that, you know, you've got No Tail coaching this team, and he might be trying to have an influence on how he remembers them winning a lot of their early mid games and their tournaments, right? Playing something like the mid Monkey King. This genuinely might be something that they're just playing in practice, that they're drilling, just constantly doing stuff in the early game. And sometimes things are going to go wrong and you're going to overplay your hand. But that's how you limit test, right? Is by, you don't know how much you can get away with until you try. So these last 2 or 3 minutes is some of the fastest I've seen OG play as a team in a long time. And sure, it didn't work out that great, but it's just refreshing to see. Because I've seen a lot of OG games in the last half year where I'm just like, they're just not doing enough. And they just lose. So now it's about finding that balance where you don't do too much and you don't do too little.
They still have a lot of time to try and figure that out. As the game is still quite even. Should have many opportunities for them to skirmish and play quickly. However, the fast play this time is emerging from Nigma as they are rotating to the top lane. Smoked up is Sumail and Omar. Sumail, they get the nice backstab. The disruption was there, but Mixer gets hexed before he can find the Rolling Thunder. No way out of this one for him, as he will end up dead. Ghost gets a credit for the kill, but more importantly, they stopped the aggression that was coming top. Kidara wanted to make a rotation. He wasted his time and finds himself in sort of no man's land where Ghost can just continue farming freely.
Yeah, this was a few seconds away from being a really good move for OG instead, so clutch from Nigma Galaxy to make the rotation just when they did. There was a Golem ready to be dropped, there was a Diffusal reveal for Pango. When they get that disruption onto Medusa, if they get to combine all their stuff, they might just kill her and take the tower. Instead now, Nigma Galaxy buy themselves some very valuable time. Let's keep in mind, their tricore of Razor, Beastmaster, Medusa is quite farm heavy. That doesn't mean it can't fight, of course it can. But Beastmaster's not gonna... He's not gonna make his way a lot around the top area. He's gonna be playing bottom plus mid, and Dusa is gonna be AFK. So if Razor isn't playing very fast, a lot comes down to these supports.
So one of those supports is right in front of Stormstormer here. They want to drop the mass serpent wards. They will throw them down onto the tower.
Yeah,
with the Beastmaster push, should be a tier 1 tower gone. No way to defend this.
Oof, close to the deny Kidaro. Nice try. It's a real feels good moment if you deny the tower against 10 Serpent Wards and a Beastmaster Dom as Warlock. But not quite. Very, very close.
Unfortunately, there's no tier 1 tower for them to claim down bottom, but they'll sweep towards the area if they need to take twin gates. Just control the jungle of the Radiant side. Keep getting farm for both Noob and Sumail.
Yeah, this is a... We talked about Medusa playing into double diffusal in this game, which is of course going to be a problem, but eventually you can overpower this with just raw items. So now that Mixa has his and they're about to be delivered the one on Stormstormer, this is one of the strongest parts of this entire game for OG that they really should try to take advantage of. If they fail to do this and Ghost just gets to keep ramping up, I do kind of feel like OG can run out of steam later in this game. So with that mindset, Nigma Galaxy are probably relatively happy to just keep the status quo, keep pushing out waves, defending their towers. As long as they know that Noob is cleaning out bottom lane, Ghost is cleaning out top, everybody's happy and farming. Things are going according to plan. Now this is a Manta pickup for Ghost.
GH might die for this here. He's getting ran down by Stormer. Fortunately though, this was him breaking a smoke. He first revealed it with the Astral Spirit, pinged out where their team was. Everybody gets back. Razor was in a bit of a precarious position, but both him and Noob will be A-okay, even if they have to give up the tier 1 tower. The question is, will they fight for this shrine? They had their last one stolen away. They don't have the appetite to do so now. Stormer, though, gets it like a boss and then gets out just as quickly.
It actually looked like Nigma Galaxy didn't notice the tree was taking it.
I mean, you don't expect these kind of rotations, right? Where you just see a rat, he's just staying in tree form. Normally it's like you use it to dodge spells, but actually moving around like that, what the hell?
Can Shad sell his Midas now for Radiance? How much is it you get for selling Midas? 1100, right? And then Doom gets 85% of 2.2k. So he gets 1870. So yeah, he could easily sell this now for Radiance, which I think you do, right? Always, in theory?
Right as you say it, he does it.
Yeah. Good. I think he could have maybe done this a little bit earlier. You can see he has the Gloves of Haste as well. So maybe a little efficiency miss, but it's okay. Nope.
Top lane, it's going to be a roll onto Stormer just to get Noob out of here, but his team might want to reinitiate because Sumail has made the teleportation. He's thinking about it. They jump in, Stormer goes first. There's the Wukong's command, connects onto the Beastmaster. Rolling Thunder as well coming in from Mixer. Beast held in position, but GH with a wonderful Echo Stomp. Unfortunately, the Wukong's command still gets the kill onto Noob. Omar falling very low. Almost dead here. Kidaro drops down the golem.
Oh, the golem's
not
done
enough damage. He's still not gonna die. Unfortunately though, because he's not there, they don't have any more control. Sumail gets himself doomed up. Ghost running out of HP very, very quickly. He needs to run, but I don't think he'll be allowed to. Inhibit coming back off cooldown for both Mixer and Stormer. Stormer will get there first though. The Inhibit comes out, Boundless Strike is there, Swashbuckle finds the double kill, and Omar, stuck around way too long, will find himself also getting punished after having dropped down Mass Serpent Wards. So those will be cleaned up for more free gold. OG playing quickly and hitting Nigma hard where it hurts.
Despite Kidaro's best efforts to sabotage Storm's fight, he still managed to chase it down. That was fun to watch. It's an unfortunate circumstance there. Like, you want to drop the golem, but it just has such a massive AoE and destroys the tree there of Storm, but they still managed to run down a couple of nice kills there. That's OG playing on the timing of their diffusal blades and getting something valuable out of it. Well, that's a nice deny from Noob though. At least mitigate some of the damage, but it's a nice little successful skirmish, if you will, from the OG side. We're approaching the time when Tormentor starts becoming a consideration. You're obviously 3 minutes out, but it takes a little bit of time to set up map control for it. Perhaps you want to get a gank out first and get vision placed. So both teams probably starting to have that a little bit on the radar now, that if they were to make that move, that could be theirs. And you can see Nigma Galaxy actually starting to invade the enemy triangle to start getting that map control in the top half of the map.
The crazy thing as well about this fight is just how healthy everybody was from OG at the end of it. They barely were scratched that entire engagement. Now, as we get back into the game, they might have a fight middle because they're smoked up. All of OG, they're moving forward. Ghost has died in the past, he might die in the present. Noob though, he breaks the smoke but still might die. Raised his hands for the primal roll, finally gets it out. Might not really matter though. They kill off his creep wave, they kill him off as well. Shad gets the credits for the kill, and they're thinking about going for Roche. And they're gonna ping it out, they're gonna try for it. They might not have the best heroes and items for it, but we'll see if they can do it.
Pango is deceptively good at this, even with level 1 Lucky Shot. The minus armor is very meaningful.
Still taking a while. Fortunately for them, Beastmaster dead for 16 seconds. GH does scout this one out, so he knows this is happening. This is taking a while. Daze supplying some damage with the Shadow Poisons as well. GH drops the splitter inside. Unfortunately, the angle is all wrong, so OG completely unbothered by his attempt.
Yeah. Roshan picks up the Aegis, a classic sight with Monkey King in the game, of course. That looked funny. It's actually a Roshan with the... You know when you pick up the Aegis, there's the Aegis icon above your head for a second or two? Mm-hmm. He had that as Roshan. Little funny detail. Classic Valve.
I mean, the Aegis is Roshan's eyes, right? So he deserves to wear it.
Yeah,
I feel like they should give him that. Like, on the model of Roshan, there should be like a chain with the Aegis around the middle, you know?
Oh, he's carrying it around like bling bling, you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man.
Some ice. Yeah, that's good.
Maybe give him some shades as well.
Honestly, having Roshan wearing a gold chain that has the Aegis on it is actually does sound really funny.
Right?
Yeah,
Sounds
I
amazing.
like that. I do like that.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Down bottom, we do have Mass Serpent what's dropped in, but in behind is the Tree Stormstormer. Dude, I've never. This is something
Omar?
else. He comes
You
right
didn't see
across
him coming.
Omar. Dude, how are you supposed to be ready for this? You're just like, what the hell? There's a moving tree. He
nice
blinks away.
footwork.
Stormstormer goes the
What the
right
hell?
direction, so he's good.
Well, for now, if Stormstormer jumps up in the right tree now, he will kill him. But no. Lost him.
Oh my god. Well, what's the game looking like for Nigma? They're playing into an Aegis at the moment. They still don't have the crucial BKB on Sumail. So that's going to be what helps them a lot in the upcoming fights, as well as finishing off this Blink Dagger for Noob. Do you think Noob should finish the Blink heads up, or should he rather buy BKB first?
I think the BKB is good. I think you need staying power. The way the fights are breaking out, it's not so much about you getting the jump, and you also need to remember you're playing against Shadow Demons, so you can't just like blink roar at target and just kill them. They're going to get saved, there's going to be counter plays that are a problem. The question that I have more so is, was this actually a game where you should have gone Ags and taken the other facet and just played an entirely different style? Because are you really getting enough value out of the Wild Hunt playstyle when your carry is Medusa and your mid laner is Razor? I think if you're, like, let's say one of those two heroes was a lot faster, right? Like the mid hero was a Spirit, and you're gonna run the map, and you're gonna play aggro and take control, then Wild Hunt feels good. But in this type of gameplay, I'd rather have Beast Mode and an Axe and just turn into a third core and try to play that fashion. And elaborating on that a little bit further, what do you think about Sumail so far in this game? I don't think this Razor pick has justified itself at all, actually. It has not impressed me in the slightest.
I feel the same way. So I've been covering this Nigma team doing a lot of their qualifiers throughout the year, and the constant theme that emerged is that when you give Sumail these heroes that, you mentioned it perfectly, right? If something doesn't have a stun and burst damage, don't give it to Sumail. Even then, giving him like the Tinies and the Earth Spirits, if you compare his performances on those relative to like his Pucks, his Ember Spirits, it's night and day. So I think the team is at its best when you just give Sumail a hero that can by himself, not just take over the game, but outplay the opposition. I think that's when he plays his best Dota. And right now, he needs to try and outplay Stormstormer. Does have the leash onto this Monkey King. He does drop the Wukong's command. Needs to run away though, because they are having backup coming in from Nigma. They get the lash in onto the Doom. Doom is dead. Beautifully done. Mixer with the Rolling Thunder trying to create chaos on the backlines, but he's eating so much damage from this Eye of the Storm. Yes, Sumail does die eventually, but that heavy commitment from OG. Will they be able to chase for more? GH, he found the Echo Stomp out onto Daze here. So the Shadow Demon, you can do what you want, my friend, but you're in a narrow pathway with no way forward. But Stormstormer comes right back. BKB active with the Boundless Strike, able to kill off GH. Now Noob is the one that's falling low. He dove into his own death. Ghost needs to run. There's a diffuser plate on Stormstormer. Hex in from Omar. Storms might still want to jump forward though. 2 seconds until the tree dance, but Ghost is a little bit too far back.
Okay. Well, obviously Shaman was on backup and Warlock has nothing left to give, so there wasn't more to come out of that. Yeah, it turns into a pretty even trade there. Noob did end up going for the Blink Dagger and showcasing it there. That was a great situation to find it. Of course, finds the immediate Blink Roar onto the Doom with BKB activated. And they find themselves an okay-ish fight out of that. Keeping in mind, Nigma Galaxy were down about 5k leading into that fight, and they're down 5k heading out of it. Probably all right as the team at a deficit here to trade evenly, especially considering what type of game you're trying to head towards with your Medusa. Now with Butterfly, working on the Pike. Eventually, as we talked about 10 minutes into this game, I think this is a game that Medusa can truly carry despite being against 2 Diffusals with the supporting cast that she has. So if you can keep this 5k deficit 20 minutes down the stretch, or maybe even 10 or 15 might be enough, then I think conditions improve.
Nigma though, they're gonna try to get themselves there through brute force as they smoke up, try to make a play. Middle, the Doom is showing, but Doom, 2k HP, BKB, Essence Ring, not a very palatable target. However, if he wanders alone from his team, which he has done now, they could try to make this jump. Unfortunately, the rest are coming, and BKB
awkward.
has already been activated. So that's a bit awkward, right? I think he could have maybe tried to force more for Shad, but getting that early BKB stops the fight just as his team is about to arrive.
It looked like Omar was either hesitating to blink Hex or that blink was on cooldown, because he kind of tried to walk in and Hex, and then when he didn't find it and force the BKB, he blinked out. So either blink got ready in between those two things happening, or he was hesitant to go in the first place, which makes their smoke a little bit uneventful. But, you know, BKB charge out of Doom isn't the worst thing. It's better than nothing. Now it's down to 7.
4k gold lead still for OG. It's gonna be a while until we have a Roshan, of course. And top lane, Noob and Omar. I think they were hoping to try and close the gap so Omar can drop some wards on this tier 1 tower, get some free objectives on the map, but with the presence of these Radiant heroes, it doesn't seem like it's gonna be that easy. In fact, they're gonna TP in days as well. They are hell-bent on defending this tower.
Not the biggest commitment from Nigma Galaxy, though. It's not like it's a full team push. It's just a Beastmaster, a couple of summons, and a Shadow Shaman protecting him, so they're not losing a lot of farm efficiency doing it this way. It's kind of like a half-commitment push, which I really like in this game state. I think if you can force OG to respond in numbers to threats that aren't really there, you're just inching out an advantage every minute. And that's a big part of what makes Beastmaster a conceptually really powerful hero at the pro level, is that he demands more attention, that, you know, he forces more heroes to rotate for him than he is himself, right? You just send your stuff somewhere and people have to go and take out the trash all the time. And in spite of Kuro, of course, being a very experienced garbage man, that's... he's on the same team, so...
Beastmaster will have some of his army removed here by the Doom. They would have loved to get the Ancient Granite Golem. Sadly, Stormstormer was not close by enough. And Storm is going for immediately MKB after finishing off his BKB Diffusal. So he wants to have some kind of way to counter the early Butterfly from the Medusa.
Oh, you can see the gold. Like, this is interesting, right? If you open the gold chart here and you just look at the last 2 minutes from minute 24 to minute 26, all 3 graphs are just dipping by a pretty significant amount with nothing happening. This is just Nigma outplaying them, OG on the map, right? This is just an efficiency win.
Oh, this could be even better. They get the Hex out onto Shad. Immediate disruption from Daze. That'll give Shad time to pick up his BKB. He didn't actually use his BKB. Long range shackle. Kidara bails him out yet again. There's the primal roll. Finally, the BKB is on. And Mixer with the Rolling Thunder able to kill off the Shadow Shaman. Doom now dropped in onto Sumail with his BKBs, hoping to kill the Doom. He dies before he can do it. Ghost has to finish the hero off for him. However, Ghost now is out of options. Tried to TP, not going to be able to do so. Stone Gaze is down. Mana pool is empty. And his life is forfeit. A team fight win for OG. And this was them responding to Nigma. But at the end of the day, the nerves of steel, you were talking about icy players. Man, Shad had ice cold veins, waited as long as possible for that BKB that enables them to turn and win the fight.
Yeah, he got shackled for like 3 seconds, and then they wanted to chain the shackle into a roar, but the unfortunate thing that happens there is the shackle gets interrupted, and before Noob gets the roar off, the BKB of Doom gets popped. So a decent chunk of the damage that Nigma Galaxy might have been able to throw into him, all the magic components just get reduced enough that, sure, you kill Doom in the end, but man, Sumail had to run out of everything to run him down there. And that, it's just one of those moments where, does it really need to be that picture perfect with the layering of stuns, or do you just make sure you get it out there so he doesn't BKB? Either way, after Nigma just controlling the map nicely for 2 minutes, they run into a brick wall. And we're right back the other way. This is a very even game, despite being a 6k lead for OG. Keep in mind, Doom's net worth is always going to be a little misleading. I'll find a little Mars snack out here in the mid-jungle. Nice freebie.
Quick kill. Not the crazy part about that last engagement. Stormstormer didn't even have Wukongs available in that fight. Like, it was off cooldown, but he didn't use it. So they lost that fight resoundingly without the biggest team fight spell on the enemy team. So what happens next time when the entirety of OG are in position, and especially if they have an Aegis to their name?
Oh, this is a pivotal moment. This is a really bold choice. I don't think you're getting this, OG. There's an Elder Titan that can just keep stomping you and getting intel. They're trying to kind of bait a response here, but... Will they actually... No, 10 seconds on Shaman. Now Medusa Illusion's going to get some intel. They're trying to figure out how low Roche is. Okay, it's down to a quarter.
I think they're too late, Sin.
Have it?
They're gonna get the Aegis. They're coming now to stop them, but they might be too late. Echo Stomp is there. He's still asleep on Stormstormer. Sad snatches the Aegis. The Plasma Field gets the kill. Sumail, though, hit with the Demonic Purge. He needs to get out of here. Mixer considering rolling in. Not gonna do so, as the Radiant Roshan just wandering on the high ground away from the fight.
I feel like that was worth a Shadow Shaman buyback. Honestly. Like, as much as Nigma Galaxy are trying to stall that out with the ET, if Shaman is available, I think the Roche play just gets called off by OG. That what prompted them to go for it was the 5v4 mana advantage. And sure, you honestly, a little bit by luck, managed to get the last hit with the Plasma Field from Sumail, which is cute and gives him some good experience, but you still lost the Aegis. And of course, that does mean that things will mellow down for a little bit. Shad with the Lincolns will now be a much tougher target, or Static Link. It's a nice value item here. Omar, and again on the receiving end. He's been caught out a few times this game.
He tries to force stuff away, but he was inhibited. There's the disruption. Stormstormer will wake up soon, and they get the kill. Very straightforward stuff from the Monkey. Everybody else has to TP away. They also maybe catch up to Sumail. They force a BKB out of this Razor. Already now down to the 6-second BKB. And I think one of the things about the Razor as well, why we haven't really seen his impact, generally in the earlier portion of the game, how you want to play as Razor, get that early Aegis, you drive forward at Aegis, BKB, make things happen, but not happening for him in this game. As Noob TP's out to safety, draws out a Wukong's command, nicely done by him.
It's
It's gonna cost him his faithful golem though. I mean, at this point, OG with pretty firm control of the map. You're looking at the hero placements. They've effectively flushed Nigma Galaxy back to a quarter of the map here. If they can keep the waves pushed, it's very difficult to exit your base against heroes like Monkey King, Shadow Demon, and Pango, and especially Doom. I'll try to find their way around the edge of the map here with Noob to try to get out and get some information. And of course, the big giveaway that this is a possibility is Stormstormer showing in the top wave. Under ideal circumstances, this top wave is being taken care of by a different hero so that Monkey King can be off map and be a threat. That little bit of information is actually extremely valuable for Nigma Galaxy right now to be able to do what they're doing.
Daze almost got the connection with the disruption onto Beastmaster. Oh, Stormstormer. He came through the Twin Gate from the top side of the map, went directly onto Noob. So they are going to be able to find this Beastmaster, despite him having used the Primal Roar. He knows he's dead, knows he's just buying time and space. He goes down, and they still have this Aegis, so they might try to pressure this tier 2 tower. Shad's already on it.
I'm trying to wrap my head around what they were trying to do there. So they send out a two-man squad between ET and Beastmaster and just cut down the right-hand side. Hope they weren't spotted by a ward. There was no backup from the rest of the team. They get caught and they die on Beast. Like, what was the end game there? Sure, Monkey King went through the gate, which arguably is kind of obvious because he just pushed out top and wants to connect with his team that has map control, right? If you want to make that move and open up the map there, I think you have to go through a smoke play to try to overwhelm and take advantage of the Monkey King being unavailable for a bit. And if you don't have any smokes, you kind of just have to accept that that part of the map is off limits, surely. That's
Monkey King changed his mind.
It's one kill, but Beastmaster is really valuable, and every time one of these cores die, it's just a minute of free map play for OG.
I mean, Beast is the only reason they got that earlier tier 2 tower down bottom. He's been forcing out these waves. We saw him make responses happen in the top side of the map fairly often. So even if he's not like going to be directly contributing to a fight, he's keeping this map open for the Medusa to keep farming.
It's just that the game state is very different when you're cornered on a third of the map versus when you're out on 50-50. Right? That's why that Beastmaster play didn't exist and why all the other stuff he's been doing in the game worked and this one didn't, is just lack of information and just pressure on your team on the map, right? So I understand if he's trying to cut all the way down bottom to get past there and force people to TP back by pushing bot tier 3, it wasn't a possibility because the waves were never in position for it anyway. So he couldn't have made them follow him, even if he wanted to.
Stormstormer doing his patented mischief rotation with the Shadow Blade that he picked up in lieu of getting the straight up Skadi. There is a sentry ward here. The Obs obviously will not see him. He's still in this. He now sees both supports. He's going to start the fight on them. And look how quickly he kills GH. With the BKB activated, there's nothing Omar can do to help him. So Omar's probably going to die as well to give up the double kill. Stormstormer will be able to get... the neutral creep. Nice.
The Tormentor's alive.
Oh, nice. That's so funny.
If you're close to the Tormentor with Shadow Shaman, can you ever be killed by an enemy hero that isn't Axe? If you're not broken, I wonder. I think the Tormentor probably always wins the timer battle because of how often it ticks. When you come out of foul play, you just instantly die to it. Either way, they still get the big reward. They get the Tormentor, they get the kills, and this is going to be a shard for Kadaro. Not the most impactful one, but... it's fine. It's more about the fact that it doesn't go the other way.
Some new items have emerged right now for Nigma Galaxy.
Man.
Sumail has a Hurricane Pike, and Noob did actually go back for that Aghanim Scepter.
It doesn't feel great, does it? Like getting it this late. At the same time, though, I don't know what else he should have got. Like maybe Shiva's Hex Refresh, perhaps? Of course, those 3 items cost the same as an Axe. Don't make that mistake. So now Nigma Galaxy are going to group up a lot more. They're huddling here. They do have a smoke on both supports, so they could burn one. I think sometimes in game states like this, it's worth burning a smoke just to ward. Like, even if you don't find a good fight or any fight at all, allowing yourself to play Process of Elimination later has quite a lot of intrinsic value. If you don't make this move, you just accept that you're being out-farmed, right? This is how you get the map back. But you can tell the smoke is not aggressive in nature right now from Nigma Galaxy. They're not like, all right, let's beeline to location X on the map. They're just using it to move around and perhaps get some wards down, hopefully.
They saw a rotation from some heroes through the Twin Gate top, because that's where they have one of their external wards from Nigma. So they were expecting that a smoke was going to come towards them and maybe trying to connect back onto it. Beautiful blink by Noob to avoid Stormstormer there. That was a very close call. So now, Nigma, they know that Roshan will be coming back, and I don't think they can deal with another Aegis. Last time around, they didn't have to worry about it being inside the base, but now there's pretty much no outer towers remaining. You will have to contend with the high ground push if you give away another Rosh.
I'm having a look at the graphs right now, and I'm honestly kind of fascinated by the development in the last 5 minutes here. Look at the win expectancy for Radiant. So
the fact
they
that
have 59% at minute 32. Since then, they have gained 5,000 net worth lead, and they've lost 2% win expectancy.
It's late game DOTA. You know that these heroes, DOTA, PL, Spectre, past a certain point of farm.
But really though, do you lose 2% chance to win in 5 minutes when you get 5k gold for your team? I don't buy it, man. Like,
what I'm
is
saying
this
is,
graph?
I don't think it's accurate. I don't think it's accurate for the game.
They
It's
went
just
from
these
being up
particular
8k
heroes
to being up
break it.
13k and lost 2% chance to win, dude. There's no way that's true.
Sure
Right?
it is. Look, Medusa's about to get 25, brother. That's what they're banking on, the 25 DOTA. It's all good, gang. We're going to get 25 Razor in about 15 minutes as well. It'll be fine, bro.
I don't know, man. I think whoever programmed the win expectancy graph at Valve was ripping a fat one. Like, that's just not. This is not. It's untrue. I call bullshit. Programming is a joke. And actually, this is all fictional. Imagine the graphs never were true. How about that? It's just an experiment they put in the game to see how players would interact with the system.
What, you the
They've
one
never
just
been
now
accurate.
saying that Gabe Newell is always correct with the predictions? Wasn't that
Hey.
you? Rewind the VOD like 10 minutes, gang.
That's what's so beautiful about Dota is that you can flip 180 degrees between two games. You can have a teammate and he's like, oh, this guy was great to play with because he was owning. And then the next game he loses in lane and he's like, starts flaming his team after his first death and just throwing a tantrum, you know? It's the same person. You know?
The duality of man. That's what Dota teaches us. Some days you feed, some days you own. One thing though about like the climb of this net worth graph is while the net worth graph, yes, has indeed been climbing in favor of OG, still at the top of the net worth is this Medusa. Sitting very pretty, trying to get into a BKB. Unfortunately for her though, I don't know if it's going to be enough to contend with a full-on Aegis, Cheese, Refresher Shard, Roshan's banner push, so we shall see.
Yep. They're about to grab their third Aegis of the game here, so this will have Refresher plus Cheese. Roshan claims the Aegis. Oh, Roshan claims everything and is put to sleep.
Yeah. They're actually coming for this one here. Ghost is posted up pretty far forward from the crew, so
I think that's
I don't know about this one.
ill-advised to go for that after OG just claimed everything, and they will call it off.
14k net worth lead now with an Aegis and all the goodies that it entails. And funny enough, the net worth increases, win probability decreases. You'll love to see it.
Yeah, okay, so obviously we talked about this earlier in the game, right? It's Doom. So inflation is a real thing here, right? The hero doesn't get as much out of net worth as other heroes do. I just genuinely did not think that a 5k increase in those 5 minutes constituted a loss in win rate. That's effectively saying that when these heroes interact, OG are not doing enough by controlling 75% of the map for 5 minutes. That's kind of crazy to think about, right? If that's actually indicative of how these games go, it means that you need to keep the enemy team in their base in this game state with these two lineups against each other, or it favors the Dire. Isn't that wild? If true, I'm not saying it isn't true, it's just kind of crazy. Think about, like, you really need to win hard, and you need to win more than what OG did for those 5.
We still have lots of time in the game for Nigma to demonstrate that this faith in Gaimin is not misplaced. However, with this Aegis, I imagine that OG are not going to give them that opportunity. We see some heroes standing behind the Doom. Looks like they could try and make a move. Stormstormer's not with them though. He's elsewhere. And the Pango is very far north. But worse yet, they also don't really have the best aggressive wards on the enemy side of the map. I don't really see anybody. Sumail's walking past one now, but he's not going to get scouted, so I'm not even sure where you go with the smoke.
I guess the overall goal for OG again now, so you see the map state has changed quite a bit, right? Now the lanes are equal around the river part. So Nigma Galaxy have effectively gained back control of about 50% of the map. So what ideally you want to do as OG now is to find a way to push out all 3 lanes with minimal commitment. So something like what Kidaro is doing here is really good, where you just place your Warlock mid in smoke and he just pushes the wave with upheaval. And when this gets pushed out, that in turn opens up for other avenues of the map for your players to make moves with the same smoke. So I really like this from OG's side to try to get back more than half the map here. And in the meantime, actually GH snipes out the Wisdom Shrine and TP's out. And that was under a Watcher. So Shadow Demon was TPing over to try to counter. Oh, never mind.
Shadow
Some other
Demon
trouble.
is getting right-click damage from Ghost. Is about to die immediately. The Max Serpent Walls also help out. Eye of the Storm is going right now onto Mixer. Mixer able to survive by eating the cheese and rolling himself away. Kidaro dropped the Chaotic Offering to buy some space and time, but that will get destroyed very, very quickly. So Nigma drew out 2 ultimates and got a kill without losing anybody. That's pretty decent. And they're also going to get the high ground D-ward. Okay, good stuff.
Yeah, just a numbers game, right? They were more players in the move, and they got the jump immediately onto SD with a great punish. They force out the cheese to be used on Mixa. He got roared and took so much damage from Medusa during the roar that's kind of the end of that play. You're reaching the point of the game now. This is where late game Dota is so difficult to play, because I was just talking about, all right, 3 waves are meeting in the mid of the map as equilibrium. You want to push the waves out, but at the same time, ideally, you also want to be 5 heroes together to take these late game team fights. And when you're 40 minutes in, most fights that break out are you really want to be 5-on-5s or 2v1s against the one guy who's trying to push out a wave. But in that instance, OG kind of bit over more than they could chew, both trying to push out lanes and initiating with Shadow Demon when Nigma Galaxy were in strong defensive formation. They get an immediate punish on that, and that's 4,000 gold down the drain. Like, these late game fights are worth so much.
Sumail getting gone on by the Monkey because the Monkey King knows that there's no BKB. Unfortunately, he doesn't have control of the outpost, so in comes Ghost immediately. They drop down the Wukong's command. There comes Mixer, Rolling Thunder, but the heals will keep the Razor alive. The right-click damage onto the Pango. Pango was gone through the Stone Gaze, and now they find the long-range shackle onto Kidaro. He is dead too. It's a double kill for DOTA. They recover the enemy gem, and this is Nigma Galaxy shaving the net worth deficit they are under and pushing for a tier 2 tower as well.
It's more of the same, right? Nigma Galaxy are playing the defensive formation. They have the right heroes in the right place at the right time, and they are getting the punishes on moves that OG are choosing. They're fighting with their Razor. They don't manage to kill him off fully with the Monkey King. They get to get the turnaround play and kill them off. It was a really nice Stone Gaze placement around the Pango. It's actually super annoying for Pango to play against Medusa sometimes for that reason. In those exact, like, kind of small crevices on the map, it can be difficult to navigate and not get caught fully by a Stone Gaze Petrify. That's exactly what happened there to Mixa, and he just gets killed off nice and quick by Ghost. Would you believe it? Gaimin is right again.
See?
Here comes Nigma Galaxy with a high ground push and get the first lane of barracks of the game. Here comes Stormstormer
though, going forward, but he gets roared immediately. Did manage to drop down the Wukong, but Ghost is lying in the damage way too fast. Sumail with the Eye of the Storm, trying to kill off Stormstormer. He's swapping himself around in the fight. They couldn't lock him down. Now it's been the lockdown onto Ghost. This Medusa cannot move. She ends up dying to a Boundless Strike. At the same time, Mixer with his roll, able to connect out onto this Elder Titan. Kidaro sees fit to drop the Golem on his head to cancel the TP. But nonetheless, they find 3 there. Did cost a buyback from Mixer, but in the end, they get the kills, albeit whilst losing a lane of Rex.
Yeah, you know what? The more this game unfolds, Snare, the more this 50-50 seems about right. It's anybody's game and anybody's fights right now. Okay, well, what's it gonna be, Nigma Galaxy? You're probably gonna have to burn at least a buyback here, surely, but... Or maybe you could concede a lane and defend us 4 without your Uso. You have a glyph times 2 once the melee falls. But there is the banner. An ace up OG's sleeves here.
Oh,
Shad's
in
in there.
forward. Shad directed towards Sumail, but
okay.
Sumail gets away. Nobody else was there to chain with the
Got the
damage,
Ghost
so...
buyback. That's massive.
Yeah.
Honestly,
and they still got the Rex.
I don't know if this was the plan when Shad did this, that he was hoping to force out buyback from the Medusa, but getting that is a massive reward. You were getting the Rex regardless, but this Blink Doom play actually... It's crazy because Ghost feels like an idiot now, right? It's one of those heat-of-the-moment situations which showcases so much how valuable it is to put pressure on players even in the pro level, because these are snap millisecond decisions, right? Like, you have to choose. And it's so easy to sit there and criticize them, and then you try to think, what if I were in this situation as the DOTA? Would I have bought back when he literally jumped and doomed my Razor in the tier 4 towers? I mean, probably, right? So, that's the power of pressure. It makes people make mistakes. The forced errors, that's such a big kill, or buyback rather. If they kill Ghost again, OG just win the game now. They have opened that up for 6 minutes, this massive opportunity, 6.5 even still.
I think the big thing about a play like that as well is, generally speaking, whenever a team has to commit a buyback and find nothing from the back of it, their next play is quite telegraphed on the map, right? You kind of have to try and force a play, force a fight, and Nigma knew that. They smoked up immediately. However, OG knew that as well. So they're the ones that maintained the defensive posture, went back into the base, just wasted Nigma's time, and they are not the ones that are desperate to make something happen in the next few minutes. They're still okay with the game state. Like you said, just one more decent fight on the DOTA, and you just win the game straight out.
And this could be a perfect lineup from OG timing-wise. There's 15 seconds on Doom cooldown. If the fight broke out right now, it would be bad, but just in 10 seconds, well, okay, let's see. Shad's in there.
GH is the
nice
first one
pick.
caught. He's dead immediately, does have buyback. Mix up, rolling thunder, goes onto the high ground, trying to force a fight. GH buys back, trying to TP into the engagement. Kadara had a very big chaotic offering dropped in, but Stormstormer, he's trying to create space with the Wukongs, and now they've isolated the Medusa from the rest of the team. Unfortunately though, they don't have the clearest connection onto her. Stormstormer getting connected with the shackles from Omar that allows them to kill the Monkey King very, very quickly. The fight now still continuing on the north side. Shad with his BKB active, hoping to try and run down Sumail, but his BKB now expires, so he has nothing here. Raising his arms to lay out the Doom, not going to be able to do so. They buy back on Stormstormer and on the Doom. GH is the first one that dies here. It's a dieback on the Elder Titan. Omar has his shackles getting cancelled out. He will lose his life quite quickly as well. And Ghost, he's the big target here, the big prize. They've already committed the Wukong's command. There's the Doom, but where is the disable? He gets forced off onto the high ground. Dusa running for his life, but Stormstormer giving chase. There with the additional stun, has the inhibit at the ready if needed. They drop the Roshan's banner just to get some additional vision for Mixer to roll in with this Pangolier. Stormstormer coming in, they want Ghost, but Ghost is so strong. Sumail draining away all the damage from Stormstormer. Still alive for now. They saved him for a moment, but eventually he will fall. Noob in the meantime did his best, but his best is not good enough. Eventually Ghost will take a tumble. Ran out of mana, ran out of resources, ran out of allies. And now that he's dead, Nigma Galaxy have potentially ran out of potential to win game 1.
Yeah, this has got to be it, right? I told you the graph. It's just so misleading, man. This was always going to be OG through and through. They kept building that advantage, and this was clear to anyone watching that this was how this game was going to end, and OG were going to come out ahead. No surprises here whatsoever. Very obvious, cleanly executed outcome. We'll get OG across the finish line for game 1, and I don't think you can possibly buy enough time here.
Yeah.
20 seconds on Shaman, and a full minute and a half on Dusa. There's just no way. They even have Wukong's command. No, it's not someone to drop it for safety, but isn't even bother. Oh, there we go.
Yep.
So,
it's because they found Sumail. He came in just to die. That's going to be it. Ancient is going to fall now. GH will try with the Echo Stalk, but 60 seconds, no Dusa, 2 minutes, no Razor, and now guaranteed no Beastmaster as well. It's over. GG, well played. Game 1 going the way of OG. Looks like we're going to have a ball game on our hands.
Yeah, I mean, this is everything else. Infernal Blade is obviously percentage-based damage, so that's something against Underlord to cut through the tankiness of the hero. I am just curious to see if it's going to be enough, but you can never count this team out when they have IO. I just think this is some of Nigma's games, they even get run over when they have IO. But when you see it before the game begins, you always have this like feeling that this could easily work as well. And I'm never going to say with confidence that Nigma are not going to win a game when they have this hero. I just think it's a mistake to think that way in general. Even if you don't like their draft, even if you favor the enemy team, they find a way a lot of the time with IO. And this time, Sumail on Storm is much more what I want to see from this team in every game. So let's see if they can make it work. That does by no means make it a given win or even necessarily significantly better conditions than the last one. I just think it's more them, you know? And sticking to your team identity goes a long way.
And something else about the Storm Spirit is the fact that outside of the Underlord Pit of Malice, what really is there that reliably catches the Storm Spirit? Should have a remarkably free game for the most part.
That's true.
So under these conditions,
is going to matter for that for sure.
Yeah. Oh, Noob outclicks Stormstormer, making sure that it's a 2-2 trade. Very nicely done, even though Stormstormer committed the Boundless Strike.
That's a bit surprising. How did they pull that off? Oh, he rebuked him during the stun, I guess, and they were both similarly close. Something like that, I'm guessing.
That sounds about right. So the question is for Stormstormer, in the previous game he was able to have a very good game against Sumail in the mid lane on the Razor. What's the matchup mechanics like mid between Monkey and the Storm Spirit?
I think this is just a draw. I feel like both heroes farm. It's been an interesting matchup to watch over the years because there was a phase when Monkey King was picked as a counter to Storm, and then there was a phase when, oh, they're running Monkey mid, we can just run Storm and farm and do fine. And now we're kind of at a point where neither hero is really being picked against the other. Is how I feel about it. I think you're picking both heroes for yourself rather than against them. We'll see if I'll be put to shame with that, though, if one of them can clearly get a big advantage. But I would assume both will be okay.
Actually, speaking of Storm, is there any one facet that so dramatically changed the hero's prospect in the laning phase as much as Static Slide did?
That was a very big change for sure. It made a matchup such as this one a lot more palatable, where you would have moments in the past where you couldn't get to the range creep without getting punished hard by multiple attacks into Jingu. And now you can just send a little walking blue man over there to take care of business.
We'll come back and see how Sumail and Stormstormer are faring in a little bit. Let us take a gander towards top, where Ghost is playing with this IO up against Mixer and Daze. This should be a lane where the Doom is able to, for the most part, get all of his farm. At the same time, they can't really prevent Mixer from doing the same.
Oh, Kidaro is actually going mid to Fatal Bond Sumail and then leave again. That's it. He's back to bottom now. Okay.
I mean, this is solid, right? Because you can sort of leave Underlord alone for a little bit, right? He doesn't need the constant babysitting. They're going to try and aggress onto him, but as soon as Omar turns the corner, he remembered, oh crap, it's an Underlord, bro. There's no point even trying to harass him right now. They're going to try with the Brambles. God's Rebuke into the Brambles. Spear of Mars. Okay, so he went through 2 Brambles, 8 2 spells, gets 1 Shadow Word heal, and he's already perfectly fine, can't die. Underlord carry, man.
The bigger part of Kidaro's rotation is obviously stealing away the water rune, right? Is that they're trying to bully Sumail out of resources so that Monkey King can maybe even win his lane. I don't think that's going to happen, though. But
hold on, Ghost is under some pressure. Tag team with the damage from Mixer, not enough. The Blood Grenade was thrown out as well, but GH with the heals. That new little Wellspring, double the regen, so once he eats a tango, Ghost is absolutely fine.
It always looks close with IO, but it never really is it? It's such a bait hero, honestly.
So what do you want to see, like, build-wise here from this Monkey King? Do you still, obviously you went for the Diffusal Blade in the previous game. Is there still value from him going Diffusal here?
Oh, small, but big heal from the wave here. Is there a world you buy Orchid here?
Used to be in the old mid lane matchups, used to be like a rush to Orchid, right? And it was just like Puck, Storm, Quap every single game. Top lane, they get the first blood finally. This time around is not enough heal coming in from GH. He had tangos coming from the courier, but the arrival is too late. He did not pay for express delivery. So Ghost ends up dead. However, middle, Stormstormer almost dies here to Omar. Omar will be able to find him in the end. Great rotation from the Dark Willow to secure this and make sure that potentially Sumail... Okay, he can't get the water rune, sadly.
Yeah, he has to go back to base now. This is really important that both teams cover the waters here. Because, yeah, Sumail will finish this wave, but he has no resources, so he needs to go up and get his bounty rune, but that one's also covered by Daze.
Oh,
Sumail is dead here, I think.
Kidaro, God, Blood Grenade, Shadow Word. He actually get him. Daze comes through to steal his kill. Scumbag Daze to take away all of my experience, but at least he's going to set up for a double kill, perhaps, as Omar has a Blood Grenade dropped onto his face. Stormstormer doesn't need the Boundless because they have the snowball forward, and they are able to get the kill. Daze will just deny to the tower, and they all walk away happily. Kidaro eventually does get his credit for a kill.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, not bad. And the top lane, obviously, it hit critical mass. We didn't really talk too much about this kill, but Tusk Dawn becomes really powerful when both heroes hit level 3. They actually did manage to get the kill on Doom when only Dawn was 3 and Tusk was 2. But now, if they were to combine their heroes with level 2 tag team, which I'm assuming Daze will skill here, Dawnbreaker does so much damage with tag team and Starbreaker. It's a nasty combo.
It is indeed. So Daze, he's still just camping around middle. So looks like there's a lot of freedom from these supports of OG. Both Mixer as well as Shad are playing very hard to kill heroes. They're actually going to try kill Sumail before he cracks level 6. There's the tag team on top of the Storm Spirit, and he is going to die. They will be able to, at the very least, get a Bramble. Unfortunately, no follow-up damage as the Snowball will dodge it out for a little bit, allowing Stormstormer enough time to escape. Nice clean kill from OG.
Yeah, and he's waiting. He's saving his last Jingu attack for a big heal here when the waves connect. This is very nicely done. It's a fat one. Back to full. In spite of the changes to lifesteal, Jingu Master can still heal you to full on a wave. That's something. All right, Daze. Not going to pursue any further on to Omar, but yeah, this is a nice start for the side of OG in this game, to be sure. All three cores doing quite well. Sumail, the easily trailing one out of everybody on the map. Only level 5.5 as he returns to mid, doing the long walk of shame here.
They have multiple supports middle, so that means that Noob is somewhat isolated. I think they might want to dive him. Daze really wants to be able to do so. Shad thinking about it, but Daze got scouted. Okay, so that will end the aggression towards Noob, but maybe open aggression towards Omar. Forcing him into the Shadow Realm. He's attempting to TP out. Shad says, no, my friend, that's not happening. So Omar will be given up as a sacrifice to keep Noob alive. However, this tower is not going to fare as well. They should be able to bring this one down.
This would be a really early tier 1, but the bigger prize is this one. Both wisdoms for OG. Really good start to the game for them now. Every hero is level 5 minimum, minute 7. On the other side, 2 heroes currently sitting on level 3. GH about to crack 4 on the IO, but this is problematic for the side of Nigma Galaxy. They have a lineup that would really like to try to accelerate off of getting early levels on the right heroes. You know, Storm can make moves with relocate, etc., but everything's just been slow to a crawl now. Now Ghost on the receiving end too.
He's been slow to a crawl too by this tag team. 0 movement speed. Noob will come, throw in the first arena of the game. They're going to try and at least get some revenge onto Daze. They ran out of damage a little bit, but they finally get him down. Mixer was hoping to try and find some heals with the Solar Guardian. As you say, it's too late, but still, it's a trade that OG will take all day, any day. No Ghost in exchange for a Tusk. Sounds like good business.
Kidaro's level 7. He's higher level than the enemy team on Warlock. He's higher level than everyone, to be fair. Yeah. Fun here. Fun stuff. Love that facet.
The Black Grimoire.
Did some decent damage to the mid tower with the golem.
Have you read any interesting books recently?
No, I can't read.
What do you mean? You can only read patch notes, right? If it comes to Dota, then that's when the reading emerges.
The only thing I read is comments on Purge's breakdown of patch notes on YouTube.
Oh. Well, I'll recommend you a book. Go read The End of Bias by Jessica Nordell. It's a fun book. Not very dense either. It's just a good read.
You come across as a very educated person when I have conversations with you. I wish I had I wish I had that impact on people, but
you see, but now you're finding the danger of perception, my friend. What if I'm just an idiot who learns how to be able to give off that perception?
And I'm a genius who can't read, is what you're saying. Yeah, I'll take it. You know, that's probably good. That's fine. I'll take it. I'll take it. All right, top 3 net worths sitting on OG's side now, nice and comfortable up there in the top spots. And this is a game that can be blown wide open once relocate comes into play, so keep your eyes on GH here as he is approaching the 6 in mid. They're giving him the wave here, recognizing the value of getting him online.
Sadly, because he's not online, they're probably going to lose Ghost in the top lane. They're smoking towards him.
This would be his 3rd death. A nice, successful smoke inbound here. Probably, I say that.
That's all good. They've got the underload ult. It's coming through with the pit of malice. They should be able to get this. Ghost will drop the Doom, but still ends up dead. Noob with the full arena doesn't really help him out either. He ends up dead. They do have the relocate. 6 was achieved, but Sumail almost dies for this. GH barely able to escape. They still find both of those kills. Now that Shad has made his way through and has the bonus from the Atrophy Aura, they should find yet another tower. Cinderin, I don't remember the last Dota 2 game I saw where at 10 minutes, 2 tier 1 towers were taken by the same team.
Yeah, this is... Yeah, 3.
Dire's top tower.
They've taken
they got
bottom
the
as
mid
well.
too. Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, this is fast stuff from OG, and I want to say this is a really good look for them that they win that fight, because under normal circumstances that looked like a total overdive. Like they chased that Doom all the way underneath his tower with their heroes. There was plenty of time for Nigma Galaxy to respond, and still they lost the fight. The Dawnbreaker coming in was more than enough to cover their tracks. And now, is this an Orchid for Mixa? No, wait, it's Treads. Okay, hang on. Am I mixing them up? He bought the cornucopia.
We'll talk about it in a second, because Ghost could be in some danger here. GH is trying to get him out, but Kidaro, with the Fiend's Golem already on the other side, has the damage to bring down Ghost. Shards onto GH. Not going to be enough to really put him in danger, but nonetheless, the big prize is Ghost. And, you know, you were mentioning in the previous game how you believe Nigma Galaxy are at their best when Sumail is playing these Storms, these Pucks, you know, playmakers. I believe they're also at their best when Ghost is playing like an uber hard carry, like a proper late game scaling type of carry. Doom, like I was telling you in the draft, I've seen him play Doom, I was not impressed, and unfortunately, it feels to be following that trajectory. So they need this kill middle onto Daze. Seems like they are going to be able to get it. He doesn't have much support behind him, will delay for a while. Kidaro's coming closer, but doesn't have Chaotic Offering, so they cannot save the Tusk. Nice free kill for them.
Yeah, it's something going the way of Nigma Galaxy, but they're going to need more than that. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with you. I don't necessarily think the trajectory of this game changes that much if he's on a different hard carry than Doom here, but it's more so credit to OG on shutting down Sumail as much as they have, right? They really contested his runes, they killed him in his tower, they delayed his level 6 massively. And as far as the Spirit heroes go, Storm is actually one of the greedier ones versus, let's say, Void Spirit or Ember, where on Storm, levels aren't enough. You really need to get that item timing to truly come online, where a Void Spirit that has a slightly bad start, or especially an Ember with a weaker start, can still do a lot with just the power of your spells. In this case, perhaps Nigma's draft is just a little bit too greedy here with the pacing that they're proposing. I mean, Shad is just a monster. I can't believe he's this farmed, actually. He is so far ahead of everyone else.
I told you in the draft. Why are you surprised? I gave you a spoiler.
No, I'm not surprised he's ahead. I'm surprised he's ahead of the Doom by 3,000 minute 12. I think that's reason to be surprised. I don't know.
No, brother. I'm telling you, Demons reach fast.
Right.
It farms really, really, really fast, especially now that he has this Echo Saber.
Yeah?
Like, I'm not at all surprised by this.
I'm not surprised it's farming fast either, Snare. It's not about what he's capable of doing. It's about how far ahead he is. It's,
to be fair, the Doom is 0-4 at this point, so
yeah,
spending a lot of time in the fountain instead of farming. And now he's actually going to die again. He's about to be 0-5. Stormstormer there with the Wukong. The Doom comes out, but it's too late. It's already dead on Ghost. Noob drops the Arena of Blood. They are able to bring down Stormstormer. And with the Bedlam going forward, they were hoping for more, but they do not get it. Instead, they just end up losing Omar. The Curse Crown did stun multiple targets, but not enough follow-up damage. Sumail and the gang need to bail the hell out of here. And they just don't have damage right now on Nigma. They have so much control, but yes, they kill Stormstormer, but the commitment required was everything from Nigma to get that.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, we were talking about that potential problem, right, with the Mars last pick is, do you have what it takes to kill the enemy lineup when the healing comes online? You can kill the one guy you doom, but what about the rest? And to make matters worse, Mixa now has a 14-minute Orchid Treads on this Dawn, so a big part of your output, being that Storm Spirit, can be mitigated drastically, and you're even at risk of dying now. I was talking about this as a potential pickup for the Monkey King, but Dawnbreaker getting this is a great choice this game as well. This game is looking super OG. You're 5k up against a carry Doom. You will naturally have higher net worth because of Devour. You wouldn't think so when you look at this. He's bottom net worth of all the cores.
I will say, you were mentioning a point about how No-Tail's been drilling them to play that older OG style, and this feels like vintage OG. Extremely fast, everywhere on the map, majorly oppressive towards the carry player that's struggling, and no free space afforded to the supports to go find a vision. Look at their wards right now for Nigma Galaxy. Like, they basically don't have any vision except for the defensive one covering the outpost. And they have one that just scouts out ganks coming towards top, but nothing that's going to enable them to make their own plays on the map.
And the global presence of OG is super strong, right? You've got the Underlord ulti, you've got the Dawn ulti. So if Tusk finds something, if Monkey King finds something, you can bring in the numbers to any play. And it's countering out this IO beautifully. They obviously gave it away on purpose here against Nigma Galaxy, believing they had a clear counter strat. So far, so good. This should be another pick here. Willow in the Shadow Realm, kind of plus can stun to any point. He'll now. And maybe that was a little bit too early. As a matter of fact, he will now escape.
You know what sometimes happens? Stormstorm was, of course, he ended the first game being crazy strong on the Monkey. You know, sometimes you enter the second game still with a hangover from your first game strength. And you're just like, oh, I should have killed that guy in like 3 hits. Oh, by the way, I'm not 6-slotted anymore. Okay.
The winner's tilt.
Exactly. The
That's
winner's
right.
tilt. Top lane, they might try to tilt Sumail. He's being pinged out. There's an observer ward here. That sees him. They have Fiend's Gate if they want it, but they don't have that many heroes nearby to take the gate with them. And looks like
They
Sumail...
could catch him with an Orchid play potentially here. Shards into Orchid.
There it is.
He is-
Orchid. They're coming through. They're going to try and relocate him out. GH doing what he can, but he gets caught in the pit of malice. You're going nowhere, my friend. We're all dying together. Double kill, quick. They all take the Fiend's grip back and go bottom. There will be an arena drop down, but I don't know if Noob is happy about this. They doomed up the Underlord, but like I said in the draft, where is the damage to kill Shad? He's chilling. He's like, okay, bro, what now?
That was a really funny situation. Just like the circus music is playing. All 3 of them are trying to exit through the gate. Only Tusk makes it out. And then his team is gone. He's like, oh shit. He goes back through the gate again to try to save them. Immediately punches a creep and no one dies. Cinema. I love moments like that. Just pure, absolute chaos. Lovely.
Okay, so in the previous game, you had some reservations about Dota Plus's predictions. 80-20 is now what
Yeah.
Dota Plus is telling us. That feels about right, man.
This is a really big lead for OG, without doubt. Like, you're ahead against Carry Doom. The enemy lineup is running into damage troubles now, and you are running the show. And my God, Shad just keeps expanding this. Every time I look at this bar, this looks like an alchemist, you know? This net worth breakdown.
Okay, I need a confirmation. Does he die even once in this game?
I think now that he has ages, probably not. Actually. The most likely outcome is that
Oh my god.
Even at a fraction of my
he gets
The
to
most
stay
likely
alive the
outcome
whole
is
way
Ghost dies.
if they win. But of course, I mean, if Nigma Galaxy turn this game around and
mid
make a
lane.
comeback, then it's just
Hold
tough
on,
to
we'll
see
talk about
right
it in a
now.
second because they're chasing after Noob. Daze really wants him. How was he able to blink out of the chaotic offering there?
I didn't notice, but ultimately it might be for not your noob. No, never mind. He will make it out.
Maybe the fatal bonds connected, but the chaotic offering didn't. Very strange. Mid lane. Omar getting gone on. Fiend's Gate is coming through as well, so Shad will make an entrance. No way to terrorize us both this time, buddy. Easy kill for the Thunderlord. Now they put their attention towards the tower. Look how quickly this thing is melting, baby.
Nice cleave radius. Just the whole screen. He's cleaving noob in his base while hitting the wave here.
Oh, man. Dude, I love this talent. This facet so much. It's really my favorite. Top lane. Oh, bottom lane, rather. They find Ghost. Dude, can y'all leave Ghost alone? Just let him be. He's already 0-7. Come on, guys. Allow him to play Dota.
Yeah, this is the new generation of OG, by the way. This is the 7th death on Doom, and OG's players are tipping Stormstormer. Old OG would have tipped the Doom 4 times by now. So it's a new dawn.
BKB now on chat.
I mean, how do you kill this guy twice?
How do you kill him once?
3k HP, BKB, and a harpoon for repositioning as well.
And that's before you
Steal
factor
their
in the atrophy aura.
stacks, man. Like, stack for the Underlord, why don't you? Holy.
So what do you do here, right? Ghostal is en route to try and finish off his Radiance at the moment. Noob still wants a Yule Scepter next. Sumail wants BKB. I don't think those items are going to give them the punch they need. So when is the point in the game that Nigma can feel comfortable actually taking fights of their own accord?
I mean, comfortable is a big word here. I think you're not gonna be favored until you win an uncomfortable fight. So we have reached the point now where you're looking at a clutch outplay to really bring things together. It's not gonna happen here for GH. Tried his best, but bonked by Mix's Dawn. I mean, what unlocks their lineup the most is getting BKBs, right? Doom BKB. Storm BKB. The problem is Doom doesn't even have Radiance, man. We're 21 minutes in. Like, this is ridiculous at this point. And honestly, I don't even know if it's worth it for Ghost to sell his Midas to buy the Radiance, taking advantage. Oh, he doesn't have. Oh, he has Impending Doom. Oh.
Wait, you went Impending Doom?
Yeah.
Oh, snap. Didn't even notice that.
Did he do that on purpose?
I don't know. I've actually never seen this in like
A
in a pro
huge
game
part
before.
of Carry Doom, what makes it good, is the bargaining facet. The devil's bargain. Because now you're losing so much efficiency by not having that to trade in your Midas for faster Radiance and then buying Midas again, right?
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And also later item builds in the game.
Dire's top tower is
I feel like this facet just isn't very good.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan myself. And you know, extra Doom duration, whatever. In a game like this, I'm not sure the extra Doom duration is actually going to help you. I would have rather had more items on the hero. Well, he's still in route to get the Radiance, 500 gold away. Needs it soon, cannot afford to die before it happens. And he knows that they've been targeting him primarily. At least he did buy out the Sacred Relic, so that's something.
It is something, Snare, and you do like to focus on the positives. So I got another positive for you. This is probably not the slowest Doom Radiance ever.
Let me check. Okay. Before you continue, right? I'm gonna go check the stats. Where do you think it is relative to the slowest Radiances?
In this patch?
Yeah, this just
Or-
this patch. Yeah, just this patch.
Yeah, this patch. I mean, this for Carry Doom, this has to be a bottom 10%, without a doubt.
Okay, let me go check quickly before the
The thing
Radiance
that can be a
arrives.
bit misleading about the stats is if there is a build where Doom goes Radiance second or third, right? If that happens enough times where Dooms have a good game but just get a later Radiance because they're rushing, I don't know, whatever it would be, right? But
Sadly, he's dead though. Well, maybe GH can save him because they are encroaching upon him. Daze is smoked up with Kidaro. Storm are not too far behind them, and of course they have a Fiend's Gate coming in 5 seconds if they want to use it. Fortunately though, Ghost seems to have read the move. They're TPing out. Whew! Close call for the Doombringer. Allows him to finish off his Radiance. 22 minutes and 53 seconds. GH dies for this, but whatever. It's fine.
he cast
Alright, so-
Relocate.
Yeah, he did. He did indeed.
Don't really know what he was hoping to accomplish with that. He could have gone back to Fountain, healed up, come back, and then died. But, alright. It's what it
so
is.
here's the information, right? Check this out. Bottom, is Omar gonna survive here? For now he is, as Sumail coming to help, but Nixa shows up with the Solar Guardian. They get the silence out onto Sumail. He pops BKB, barely able to zip away, but Ghost does not have any such luxuries. He ends up dead, unstoppable streak for Shad. And, oh well, since the game might end very quickly, I'll just tell you. The slowest Doom Radiance was Miero, 29 minutes, 41 seconds. The second slowest is this game, 53. But on the bright side, Ghost has the fastest one in the entire patch, 13 minutes and 2 seconds. So
Okay, I will say the Miro one. Miro is an offlane player and probably didn't buy Radiance first item.
oh my god.
So that would
Sumail.
make this the slowest one.
Yes,
But,
by far.
oh, he did complete it, because otherwise it wouldn't be part of the statistics if he never bought it. But he does have the Radiance
Noob
now.
gets a big arena. They actually catch Stormstormer. That's a big kill. Can they get out of this cleanly is the question, as Doom is about to respawn and re-emerge into the fight. Pit of Malice dropped down onto Omar, forces him back into the base. Shad is still posted up on the high ground, extremely tanky in his own right, but they now have more tools to try and stop this push. Terrorize is being tuned up. Do they want to throw it? They probably wait for the storm to respawn, but it's too late. They already got the tier 3 tower. OG trying to make their escape now. Spear back into another bramble. He's held in position. Sumail will respawn, but yeah, Shad just posting up means he's an impossible target right now.
He's just so tanky, man. He's got BKB Lincolns, 3,500 HP, 25 minutes in, and a poor man's shield, just to make matters worse. He even has damage block.
I was
This
gonna
guy's
get worse,
playing
my
Path
friend.
of Exile, man. He's stacking defensive layers right now.
He's
So
about to
he's
hit
gonna
20.
get next.
Level 20. More atrophy aura reduction.
Yeah, true that. Oh yeah, he also has a minus damage aura, lest we forget that. Right, so that's another defensive layer. I think it's time for some evasion rating, buddy. It's time for a butterfly for you, Shad.
What's really funny though, I don't actually think he needed to go for the atrophy aura reduction. Wait, they don't have any right-click damage on Nigma. What are you worried about, bro?
I don't think he's worried about anything, so...
Well, BKB has not been picked up by Noob. BKB is in on Sumail. BKB is a pipe dream for Ghost, but let's see if the double BKBs can do anything here. So far, they're just watching the racks getting taken. They'll live, but there's no realistic expectation this will work. They actually put on top with Shad, but he has a Fiend's Gate, so he can be right back to ensure that they finish off these racks.
To give you some context on the Radiance, we're getting a little bit of help from chat here, Snare. Miero's 29-minute Radiance, that was the slowest of this patch. He bought it after Blink, Drums, and BKB. So, you know, it's not really a very fair comparison. I mean, the thing is, this just happens sometimes. Like, sometimes you just have a game where everything goes wrong. And how much can you really blame on the draft? At least some of it, if you will. You can talk about strategy or whatnot, but honestly, you kind of just got outplayed, right? OG got the Wisdom Shrines at minute 7. They outplayed you on rotations. They crushed your mid player. They dove your top tower.
And they're killing your Doom again. They're killing your Doom again. He still doesn't have BKB, and he is about to die. 0-9 for Ghost. Definitely a lane of racks middle. And he can buy back, but to what end? Who's he going to help you get a kill on?
This is just a standout game from OG. I'm really impressed. I think they've done almost everything correctly. Let's see if
trying to
they can
zip on the
finish it off.
backlines, but Kidoro was there immediately with the chaotic offering. Stormstormer now closing in onto the Storm Spirit. Drops his Wukong's command. Sumail doing what he can, but he can't even kill Daze. He has to get out of the fight now as his BKB expires. GH trying to drag himself forward with the tether. Not able to escape, nor is Omar. At least they got Sumail out to safety, but Daze didn't even die on his task. Wasted the entire play from Nigma Galaxy. Gave them nothing in return.
I believe this is a game over, my friends. Where it's done and dusted. It's Mega's minute 28 with a 1,000 PPM lead for OG. The graph doesn't lie, man. Said OG were gonna smash this game, and boy, they did. It's GG.
Yeah. This might be the hardest beatdown we've seen in the tournament so far.
Yeah, the good news for Nigma Galaxy is this was not an elimination game, of course. They have one more life left, but we're now 0-2, and the other 0-2 team that you and I confirmed earlier today was a